Hey, Strongholders, I wanted to take a moment to create this short video to address, what is obviously I mean, I'm a little bit at a loss for words because on the one hand, I think what's going on in the markets generally is, you know, it's not just something that's affecting Stronghold. We've got a very assertive Federal Reserve here in the United States that is ostensibly attempting to rein in inflation, which some market commentators might suggest the Fed itself created. So that process of attempting to put an inflation genie, so to speak, back into a bottle has a lot of collateral damage. And, markets generally have been obliterated by what's been going on, with the Fed. I'm looking at the dashboard right now, and it looks like our company's stock closed at $1.02 per share. Now, not sure what might have happened in the after hours market, but we're pretty much bouncing off of that $1 threshold. I guess at this point, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if we drop below $1 and truly get into the penny stock realm. I'm looking at the market cap of the company. The dashboard's computing it to be $49.27 million. I suspect there are some brand new Gulfstream jets that cost more than this entire company, at least insofar as the way the market is valuing the company right now. I'm laughing because, at one point, was it maybe a month ago or so, just speaking, regarding my own personal position in the company, I think I was up almost 100% when the stock was up close to $3.80 a share. Didn't sell a single share. Have acquired more shares since then. I'm comfortable revealing that I own between 100,000 and 1 million shares of the company. I have a very deeply vested interest in the company doing well, but I'm also very cognizant of the fact that I really am committed to holding on to this stock for at least a year. So I need to do things to kind of keep myself, not only committed, which I already am really, but to just kind of make this like a fun journey because, let's say the stock tomorrow magically opened at $100 a share. Okay, I sell my shares while I'm losing then a kind of a big part of what's been something of interest to me lately. I'm really, really deeply intellectually curious about the company, what's going on. I track their performance not just in a theoretical way, but in a very tangible way as well. And I think that's been evidenced by some of my Twitter postings, some of my insights regarding some of the facilities, which are to a large extent local to me, so I can be physically in the vicinity of some of these plants. And so I feel I'm rambling, but I want to address, I think, what in my mind has got to be one of the most difficult things really for a lot of shareholders, especially those who may have gotten in last year. I believe the company came public on October 19th, so the 1 year birthday of being a public company is coming up. I do plan to celebrate that, although I'm deeply sensitive to the fact that somebody who would have bought shares and not sold them, would have very significant losses right now. It's kind of sobering. I'm looking at the dashboard again. The 52-week high is over $35 a share. We're down to about a buck a share. That's a pretty catastrophic decline in value. Again, not strictly attributable to Stronghold itself. Really, this is like a market-wide sort of situation. But yeah, I mean, the company's been affected by a variety of things specific to the company, that haven't helped. Really, it involves the price of Bitcoin. I mean, if Bitcoin right now were, instead of, again, I'm looking at the dashboard here, instead of being around $19,000 a coin, we're instead $190,000 a coin, I don't think that the stock price would be at $1 a share. I'll have more to say about everything, but I just, today feels very much like kind of like the first day of a new year for me personally, and I want to very much be more active and more vocal with regard to my thoughts regarding the company. I think I wrestle a little bit internally with that delineation between what's material non-public information and what's stuff that's germane to discuss in a public format. I mean, I've been very, very careful with regard to what methods I've used insofar as my own due diligence to kind of be careful, right? Not to kind of like border into like industrial espionage or anything weird like that. And I certainly don't believe I've sort of surpassed that threshold. But I clearly have taken a very, very profound interest in the company, not just merely looking at statements published by the company, but physically sort of immersing myself in a lot of what's going on to just get a more tangible understanding of the company, which is something that's so rare and so beautiful and so wonderful to be able to do, because so often as people interested in a publicly traded company, we're oftentimes relegated to just reading press releases or looking at what has been published on the SEC website. And it can become very theoretical, very kind of like very intangible in some ways. Sure, if you buy shares of I don't know, a company that sells a consumer product that you could go and like look at the consumer product on a store shelf, that can give you some insight. But man, this is like one of those rare situations where a lot of what this company's doing is publicly ascertainable. I mean, insofar as doing the math, okay, how many megawatts does a particular power plant have the capacity to generate? What are the publicly viewable prices for that energy? And then computing like what the revenue can be. That's something that's very hard to do for most companies, because you don't necessarily know like what the company's sales are. The big variable here is, okay, like is a particular power plant online or offline at any given point in time? But that too can be ascertained in a very public manner simply by physically looking at the plant and seeing if there's something coming out of the chimney, so to speak, right? Is there any exhaust, from a plant? That's one indicator that perhaps something's happening and that energy is being produced. I think this is such a cool company. I really genuinely, I'm really all in on this company. I like Stronghold tremendously. I have had, and this has been by choice, I've had zero contact with anyone in management. I've really wanted to be very, very careful that I'm obtaining all my information just purely, through what's published on the SEC website, based on, my own independent research. Just to really, be ultra careful that, there can't be any like allegation. Hey, wait a minute, like your dashboard is like so detailed, like what, what's going on. I'd rather just have it be an arm's length relationship. Although I will say publicly, I'm a huge fan of management. I think that some of their moves have been brilliant, almost like, do they have a crystal ball that I can borrow? Because some of the moves have just been truly incredible. And, my only comment, and I'm going to have a whole lot more to say, but my only comment would be, I would definitely be very judicious insofar as like the use of newly raised capital to purchase ASIC mining machines, which may not necessarily be as efficient or as robust as what might be available in a couple of years. And again, I realize that that's a very, very tricky thing to balance because, yeah, a lot's contingent. I mean, basically, the future of this company is essentially gambled on Bitcoin pricing, or is being gambled on Bitcoin pricing. I mean, the question of staying in business, to me, I think that question has been settled to a large extent. I do believe that the power assets by themselves, just selling to the grid, I really do believe that that's going to keep the company in business. I mean, I did independently check out what, generally speaking, what kind of valuation a company should maybe have based on free cash flow. And, 5 to 10 times free cash flow does seem to legitimately be a metric that's viable in this current environment where the Fed keeps raising interest rates. I mean, our valuation is going to be affected by that probably, but I mean, a company trading at about $50 million, I mean, assuming free cash flows anywhere from 35 to 65 million, I mean, it would seem as if, though, just purely judging the company on its ability to produce power and sell that power to the grid at current prices, and by current, I don't literally mean at a little after 10 p.m. on a Monday night here. I mean just generally based on what grid pricing has been. It would seem as if, though, the market cap is definitely a bit on the low side. But again, we're in a macroeconomic situation right now with specifically with the Federal Reserve and what they're doing with rates and how that's affecting the capital markets generally. It's a very, very challenging environment. So, all right, that's going to be all for now. But I am definitely going to be ramping up, the free expression of my thoughts and opinions, and because I mean, there's definitely a lot of negativity surrounding the company, and maybe some would argue it's well deserved. I don't know. You try running a company, you try making decisions, you try allocating capital, without the benefit of hindsight. I mean, it's very challenging. It's not easy to sometimes make decisions, when you're dealing with information which may be relevant and true at the moment, but that can change with the passing of time. And so what I would say is that I truly do believe that this management team has been incredibly nimble, and I think incredibly, as I said, almost, clairvoyant in their ability to really change things up and to really adapt to market conditions in ways that I think are very, very helpful, and which certainly give me a great deal of peace of mind, and that I truly believe will get us through this current environment. So I will have more to say, strongholders. Let's stay strong. I'm certainly staying long, and it's going to be a bumpy ride, but I have confidence in the pilots of this vessel that we're not going to crash into the side of a mountain or nosedive into the ground. So I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited, and I'm fully committed. And every day in this journey is going to be an adventure. And I mean, I think it's pretty clear that there's not going to be a dull moment, because there's a lot of stuff that's coming our way, which we're going to have to deal with. And the best we could do is take it a day at a time. We all have to make our own decisions as to whether or not we want to keep holding, the company shares or not. I'm in this for at least a year, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Okay, that's all for now.